Hello everyone, it's Chaotic.Neutral here to talk about the top 5 vehicles to grief and kill other players. These will be ranked based on their effectiveness and how much fun they are to use while killing people and destroying cargo. Number 5 is the Oppressor Mark II. I ranked this lower than the others because, for one thing, they nerfed the missiles, so this is no longer as effective as it used to be, but also, unless you're free aiming the missiles, it honestly feels kind of cheap. You usually just lock onto things and boom, they're dead. You might have trouble hitting things like helicopters that you can't lock onto, or other oppressors that can just dodge around pretty easily, but for the most part, you can still generally just auto-aim and kill things. Free aiming can be pretty fun. One problem you'll run into is that the missiles, for whatever fucking reason, like to hit the ground behind things that you shoot them at. So they'll follow it for a while and then just impact the ground. So to escape an oppressor, a lot of the time, all you have to do now is just drive in a straight line at a reasonable speed, and the missiles won't even hit you. It is still pretty effective for destroying things like special cargo, or gun running shipments, or if you can free aim things, then almost anything, but don't expect to hit too much with the auto aim. Overall, this vehicle does have a few pros. It is pretty fast, especially if you use the handbrake. That'll make you accelerate more quickly. You can spawn it anywhere if you use the MC menu, and it is honestly probably one of the easiest vehicles to use. If you want to, you can literally just fly around spamming the missiles at people and get kills. It also has a list of cons. You're going to be seen as a noob for using this thing. It gets called the noob tube, the mosquito, lots of derogatory names, and rightfully so, because it's pretty obnoxious and easy to use and just very, very noobish. It's also pretty expensive. It's going to run you a few million to buy this, as well as a few million to buy the terabyte and all the other shit that you need to be able to upgrade this thing. The missile tracking is garbage, and it's just going to hit the ground about half the time. And for those missiles, you only have 20 of them before you have to go back to your terabyte or despawn it and then respawn it. And finally, you're completely exposed, so it is honestly pretty easy to minigun people off this thing, or just snipe them or whatever. You're gonna get shot if you hold still, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna deserve it. Number 4 is the Toreador. This has some pretty great missiles with aggressive tracking that are gonna hit things. It has a boost, which is pretty fun, and it's not a half bad car to begin with. You can go underwater too. I've gotten pretty limited use out of that, but between the boost and the missiles, this thing is pretty fun to drive. You can run players over. If somebody shoots missiles at you, you can just boost out of the way. Honestly, a pretty fun vehicle overall. You can shoot oppressors out of the sky, you can shoot helicopters, you can shoot cars, you can shoot cargo. The only thing that it really does not exactly shine against is players that are just on foot, because you can't lock onto them, and it's going to be kind of hard to aim the missiles correctly at them. A lot of the time, it's sometimes better just to run them over and shoot them afterwards when they're trying to get up. It is a pretty fun vehicle, though, and you can just cruise around the city shooting missiles at people and blowing things up and then escaping. So the list of pros for this thing includes the boost, which you can use to get away from people or just fuck around. Has pretty aggressive missiles that are almost always going to hit the target as long as you're properly locked on. And you can go underwater with it, so you can blow up submarines or just escape from aggressive players. It's probably also one of the best vehicles for destroying oppressors, so if you're having trouble with grinders spawning oppressors to fight you, then spawn this thing. For the list of cons, first off, it has a gigantic windshield that's very easy to get shot through, so don't drive directly towards players and definitely don't hold still, you will get shot. Secondly, it's a little bit hard to hit people who are on foot with this thing because you cannot lock on and you can't actually aim where the missiles are going without moving the car. Lastly, it's not very durable. It can only take about 2 sticky bombs before it blows up, so if you're fighting a night shark or something like that, be very careful. And I would recommend using the boost as much as you can to make yourself harder to hit. Next up is the Submarine, specifically the missiles on the Submarine. These things are so much fun to just shoot at people. You can sit out in the sea nice and safe, launch missiles at noobs and blow them up. I've destroyed cargo this way, I've blown up Deluxos this way, I've blown up jets this way, and in fact, this is how I started griefing. because it's really, really easy to just sit there and shoot them at people. There's no risk to you. You can leave whenever you want. The most they're going to do is try to come after you. You'll see them and you can just teleport away or find a new session. It used to be a great way to farm KD. Obviously you can't actually do that anymore, but it's still a lot of fun to troll people with this thing, especially once you start getting good at it. Make sure that after you kill somebody, you message them 1-0 or 2-0 or L's or something like that so they know what the score is. That really, really pisses them off because they know they can't actually do anything to you because you're in your submarine. Also, if somebody manages to blow this up, then you'll just respawn on the beach. You don't die. Pros and cons. There is absolutely zero risk to doing this. You cannot die. At worst, if your sub gets blown up, you'll respawn on the beach, like I said. And if you keep a facility teleport in your phone, if somebody comes after you, you can just pop away and orb them. It's really fun to troll noobs with this. You can just blow up their cars or their cargo or whatever. It also has a built-in fast travel. If you get in the driver's seat, you can choose to instantly teleport anywhere. And finally, Pavel is probably one of the most lovable characters in this game. He's funny. The only downside to this vehicle is the initial setup cost. You're going to have to pay about 2.4 million to buy the sub, and then I believe about $1.5 million to install the missiles. In this case, you will actually earn your money back over time though, since after this you can do the KO Perico heist. Number 2 is the laser. This is a great option for sheer firepower. It's a little bit of a glass cannon because it doesn't take that much to blow it up, but you can get across the map incredibly quickly. You can dogfight in it, you can destroy cargo really easily, you can spawn kill people. Overall, it's just a great option, and if you combine it with Ghost Org, you can get just about anywhere and grief just about anybody. Car meets, cargo, just generalized griefing. Nobody is safe if you're running around in the session in this thing. Just keep an eye on the sky because occasionally other people will spawn jets to come fight you, which honestly is kind of fun. The only major downfall that this vehicle has is the explosive sniper rifle. It takes technically 2 hits to destroy it, but if you get hit once, it'll start smoking, and you might as well just bail at that point because either you're gonna wreck or they're gonna shoot you again. Pros and cons of the laser. It's very fast, you can get across the map extremely quickly. It has a ton of raw firepower, it only takes a few shots to blow up just about anything short of a night shark. Has a high skill cap, so there's a lot that you can learn with this thing, a lot of cool maneuvers. You may wreck a lot at first, but you will get over that, just be careful. And also dogfights in this are pretty fun, which you're not really going to have in most of the other options on this list. It's also one of the best, if not the best option for spawn killing people. It does have a few downsides. First off, it's pretty fragile. If you hit anything at any speed, you're probably going to blow up or shear off a wing. The spawn locations are trash. It usually will spawn in an airport, and sometimes it will spawn across the map from you when you're at an airport. It's also pretty expensive to buy. You don't necessarily have to buy one, you can steal one from Fort Zancudo, but if not, it's going to run you a few million to purchase this. Before I talk about number 1, I'd like to make an honorable mention, and that's ground combat. Because regardless of what other vehicles you use or how good you are with them, eventually you're going to get blown up, or shot down, or maybe you just have to blow up some cargo. And if you're not good on the ground, you're going to get your ass kicked, and it's going to be pathetic, and you're probably just going to end up leaving the session in shame. So practice your ground combat, practice sniping people, learn how to spam RPGs, all that good stuff. It's honestly a lot of fun, and it's very useful because you will be spending time on the ground. You're not always going to be in a vehicle because, like I said, either it's going to get blown up or maybe you just get tired of vehicles. Obviously, this is not a vehicle per se. It's more of a method of combat, which is why it's an honorable mention, but I would still very, very highly recommend that you practice this and get good at it because it's fun. And the number 1 vehicle on this list is the Night Shark, which is an amazing vehicle that I can't recommend highly enough to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a griefer, a grinder, just some dude who likes driving around. This thing is so durable, it takes 27 homing rockets to destroy it. If somebody comes after you in an Oppressor and you are in a Night Shark, they don't have enough missiles in their Oppressor to destroy you. You can literally just sit there and laugh at them and type obnoxious things in chat. If you don't put the window blockers on it, which honestly don't do that much anyway, you can throw stickies out of it, you can shoot your AP pistol, and there's not a whole lot other players can do. If you're driving directly at them, you should swerve around so that you don't get shot out of the window because you are somewhat vulnerable. But for the most part, it's really hard to kill somebody driving one of these things. People can shoot missiles at you, they can throw stickies at you. The only thing that's really a threat to this tank of a car is maybe a jet, but even then, all you really need to do is just drive under something and wait. This is an amazing vehicle. It's definitely my #1 choice by a long shot, even above the laser. It's got a decent top speed, pretty good handling, lots of different skins and colors and liveries and shit that you can apply to it. It's a personal vehicle, so you can spawn it anywhere, and it doesn't actually have a unique map icon, so nobody's going to know that you're driving this thing until it's too late. The Night Shark is up on everybody. You cannot kill this thing in an Oppressor. You're going to have a hard time killing this thing in a jet. I've gone 3v1 against Toreadors in the Night Shark, just chucking sticky bombs at them, and won. You can beat tanks in this thing if you're smart about it. You can beat jets in this thing if you're smart about it. Cars, fucking forget it. They're toast. Definitely a top choice, top tier, absolute #1 pick for everything. Look at this guy trying to kill me in his Oppressor. He's just spamming missiles, and they're not doing a damn thing. There's no way he can kill me. He physically can't. This thing is absolutely a beast. If you buy one vehicle in this game and never touch a single other vehicle, buy a Night Shark. Pros and cons of the Night Shark. First off, it has pretty decent speed and handling for what it is, considering it is essentially a tank in car form. It takes 27 homing rockets and a lot of stickies and RPGs to blow this thing up. Even jets and tanks will struggle. It's pretty customizable, lots of liveries, lots of colors, lots of different things you can apply to it. It's also relatively inexpensive, coming in at $1.25 million to purchase this, which is a lot less than some of the other options on this list. And finally, there is no unique map icon for this, so you will just show up as a regular player dot and nobody will be any the wiser that you're driving in this car. Really, the only downsides to this vehicle are that you will be outpaced by some of the faster supercars, and also if you choose to not apply the armor plating to the windows, you're going to be exposed and you can be shot. I would still recommend doing this because if you do apply the armor plating, you can't use your guns like the AP pistol, and you can't throw sticky bombs, which pretty much restricts you to just the onboard machine guns, which aren't that great. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more griefing content and griefing guides, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and like this video so that you can see more and gain more knowledge in your quest to destroy noobs and grief grinders. Thanks, and have a nice day.